Hello, this is the lecture video for the Neolithic Revolution Notes from Unit 2, Early Humans and Rise of Civilizations. Throughout this video, you might need to pause. There are questions built in to these notes, so while you're filling in the blanks, you also find slides where you need to highlight or to write answers. So you'll need to pause this video as you do that. And you might need to pause the video as you are filling in your notes, depending on your pace. So, before getting into the Neolithic, we need to have an overview of the Paleolithic. Paleolithic, we've spent a couple days on this. Humans are nomadic. What does nomadic mean? They're wandering aimlessly from place to place. They do not have one permanent address while they're visiting others. They don't have a permanent address. They are roaming, they're wandering aimlessly from place to place, and they're in search of food, okay? Needs of survival: food, water, shelter. They make temporary shelters as they go along. They look for caves and hills or mountains, or they build temporary shelters, or they're just underneath the stars. But they are following their food. They are experiencing push and pull factors. They hunt wild animals and they gather plants. Humans also live in small family clans. These are small groups because the wild can only support a certain amount of people at a time in that one area. So you have to keep the groups small so that there's enough food as you're traveling from place to place. They made simple tools. These are mostly from stone, like hand axes, bows, arrows, and spearheads. With our tools today, we might think of a toolbox out possibly in the garage, underneath the sink, or a Web 2.0 tool. These tools are still innovative, even though they're made from stone, because when hunting wild animals, this meant that you could stand a little bit back from the animal and throw your spear, aim your bow and arrow, and try to kill the animal for your food, because your survival every day is about, do we have enough food? Do we have enough food? Do we have enough food? So these tools help them cut things. They also help them hunt wild animals, because no longer having to always climb on top of an animal to kill it, because that's also risking your own life. These simple tools are innovative, and humans can stand a little bit further back from wild animals and still possibly kill the animal, be successful, have their life, and be able to take that animal back for food. So you need to answer the following question. You can use the map if needed. So around 50,000 years ago, humans began to move out of the continent of Africa. Identify at least 2 factors that influence this movement of humans away from their homeland in Africa. So I have 3 here. You need at least 2. We have looked at this map in class about the early human migration. It is a flow map. That the red arrow means possible migration routes. Dates represent approximate number of years. This light blue represents glaciers. So glaciers are here, glaciers are there. Approximate land area during the Ice Age, the tan color. And then the blue line shows us what's the present day shoreline, where the ocean and land come together. So right now you'll need to pause this video, answer these 3 or 2 or 3, and then resume the video. Paleolithic era is happening, but then the innovation of farming comes around. So then we enter the Neolithic era. Paleo means old, neo means new. So something new is happening, a new era, but what is it? It's with farming. Wait, what? So humans didn't realize during the Paleolithic era that they could control their whole food supply, aka being farmers. So they may have planted a thing or two, but they couldn't sustain themselves on that. So they were nomadic hunters and gatherers. The Neolithic Revolution. During the Great Migration, humans were looking for new, warmer regions with fertile soil. Fertile soil is a vocab word, being able to rich in nutrients and support farming. So once they were looking for these new, warmer regions because of push and pull factors, they now could keep animals and grow food on a regular basis. They are controlling their food supply. Humans could settle down and experience a sedentary lifestyle. We today live a sedentary lifestyle. Even if you're someone where you're moving quite often, it's still a sedentary lifestyle. So farming, keeping care of animals, you can't just wander miles and miles away looking for other things. You've got crops to tend to, you have animals to care for, so you have to stay there. So you're going to build permanent homes. A division of labor is going to come about, specialization, creation of social classes, our social structure pyramid, and then rise of civilizations. These do not date back to the Paleo and Neolithic era, but these are illustrations, so we have an idea, we have a visual. So in the top left, we see people harvesting grains, and we see someone tending to animals. In the bottom illustration, the bottom right, we see people also tending to crops, grains, and then we see in the background permanent homes, and then we see other people working on land, and they are building a wall for a defense system. Because after the basic needs of food, water, and shelter are met, then we need to look at what do we have to protect ourselves from invaders. So highlight true or false using for the following questions. Use the notes on the previous slides to help you. You can pause now or listen to me read the questions. Number 1, true or false? People during Paleolithic era were nomadic. 2, true or false? People during Neolithic era are farmers. Number 3, true or false? People during Neolithic era developed tools from stones. Number 4, true or false? The earliest humans lived on the African continent. Number 5, true or false? When the sea level is low, more land appears. You're going to have to think quite hard about number 5. We talked about it yesterday, and you can get an idea from the map, but you will have to think a moment or two longer. If you're unsure of how to highlight, so you take your cursor and you highlight what you want, then up here, this lovely icon is a highlighter, and when you put your cursor over it, it says highlight color, and you can pick whichever color. So it's like having a bag full of different colored highlighters. So again, you put your cursor over what you want to highlight. I'm not highlighting over the true and false on purpose. You click this icon that's a highlighter, and you pick your color. But I am not highlighting that, so come back. So now is when you probably need to pause the video to answer these questions, and then you can resume the lecture video. So Neolithic Revolution continued. Since everyone is growing their own food, there's often a surplus, more than what is needed. Again, a surplus is more than what is needed. So if there's a surplus, then not everyone has to farm, aka a division of labor is created. Today, we still have divisions of labor. What might this look like for Neolithic civilizations? Someone could be a priest, someone could be the town leader, someone can be the weaver, and someone can be a potter. Why? Because the farmers will grow enough that the potter can trade and barter. Ooh, this sure sounds familiar. Trade and barter pottery for crops. Tools are now being made from copper, bronze, and iron. We've got metallurgy, so no longer really using stone. Stone could still be used, but the new innovative thing is to use metals, copper, bronze, and iron. And the wheel is also invented. What a revolutionary concept. The wheel. We take it for granted, but we use the wheel every day. So here's a question. Read the following passage from food gathering to food producing and answer the following question. You can pause the video now or you can listen to me read it out loud. Paleolithic men could not control their food supply. So long as they relied on foraging, hunting, fishing, and trapping, they were dependent on the natural food supply in a given area to keep from starving. But while Paleolithic men continued their food gathering pattern of existence in Europe, Africa, and Australia, groups of people in the Near East began to cultivate edible plants and to breed animals. Often described as the first economic revolution in the history of man, this momentous change from a food gathering to a food-producing economy initiated the Neolithic age. Paleolithic man was a hunter, Neolithic man became a farmer and a herdsman. Based on the passage above, why does the author call the Neolithic period the first economic revolution in the history of man? You need to highlight the answer. So again, right beside where you pick the text color is the highlight icon. So you put your cursor over the text to highlight, and then you click the highlight button and you choose the color. So the answer choices: A, during the Neolithic age, early man was able to grow food for his family and have a surplus. B, during the Neolithic age, early man no longer hunted animals for food. C, during the Neolithic age, early man was able to settle down and stop moving. And D, during the Neolithic age, early man created new tools to help them farm. This is our first question. Like this is what our test will look like. These are questions from previous tests for social studies. While all these statements could be true, you need to pick the one that answers the question. There's only one that answers the question. All of them could be correct statements, but they don't answer the question. So again, based on the passage above, why does the author call the Neolithic period the first economic revolution in the history of man? Here are just some fun comics. So we have the spear, then we go to grain. But Dad, no one goes around hunting and gathering anymore. It's just so Paleolithic. He thinks he's so Neolithic with his ice stone. I'm tired of hunting and gathering too, but nobody's invented grocery stores yet. And then cooked meat, wheels to chase, a fire to bask by. Fellas, we're evolving. Final slide. Where are these early civilizations happening? River valleys. Water is important. Our unit on Greece will not be at a river valley, but every other unit, river valley is geography. River valley, river valley, river valley. River valleys have fertile, rich soil. There's easy access to water for crops and animals. Rivers can flood, which is bad, but then rich nutrients are deposited on the soil, which is good. Here, the map is titled 4 River Valley Civilizations, and we have our compass rose, north, south, east, and west. So the yellow represents China over here. We have Mesopotamia right here. Mesopotamia will be in our next unit. We'll have also on ancient Egypt, the Indus Valley, and we will study all of these. We just study them individually, but they all were at river valleys. We've got the Nile River, we've got the Tigris and their Euphrates, we have the Indus River, and over here we've got the Yellow River Valley. Before you submit this, make sure you have all the questions answered.